Happy Friday. Go ahead and get out your math notebooks. At the top, today's date, January 22nd. Yeah. And we just finished up with our adding and subtracting fractions and mixed numbers. So what do you think we're going to do next with those fractions and mixed numbers? Multiply and divide. Yep, here we go. So, in order for us to first take a look at some multiplication, we need to keep in mind how fraction is division. And I know we've talked about that before, and I want to just review it then just a little bit. Not yet, thank you. So if I have, write this in your math notebook, please. If I have 7/8, fraction is division. So how would I write that as a division problem? Divide by 8. Very nice. What if I have 2/5? 2/5 is the same as saying what? It's the same thing. It would be 2 divided by 5. In your math notebook, guys, not just sitting. What if I have 25/43? What would that be as division?
25 divided by 43.
Very nice. We just want to show how division is, fractions are division. That's what they are, okay? Now, when we're doing 7 divided by 8 here, am I going to have a whole number as an answer? No, my answer is going to be smaller than a whole number. Good. All right. Malia, will you go ahead and grab our lights? And then I have a short video here for you guys. Our Math Antics friend is going to talk about how our fractions are division. Let me grab our lights, our blinds too.
Okay, so far we've learned how fractions represent parts of things, and we've learned how to do some simple math with those parts. But if we want to really understand how fractions work, we need to start thinking about them in a new way. We need to learn what fractions really are. A fraction is just a number that's written like a division problem. You remember division, right? Where you take one number and divide it up by another number? And you might also remember that there's different ways to write a division problem. When you first learn about division, you usually see division problems written like this. Now that symbol in the middle just means divide this number by that number. Then you learn it's useful to write a division problem a different way, like this. Now that's still the same division problem. It just uses a different symbol to tell us to divide. So that's 2 different ways to write the same division problem. But wait, there's more. Now some of you who use computers a lot might have seen division written like this. Now that slash is just another way to write the division symbol. Now this one's interesting. Watch what happens when we rearrange it a little bit. Look familiar? Yep, it's a division problem that looks like a fraction. And that's just because a fraction really is a division problem, but we treat it like a number. The line between the top and bottom numbers is just another way of writing the division symbol. The top number is the number being divided up, and we call it the numerator. The bottom number is the number we're dividing by, and we call it the denominator. Now let's look at some of the common fractions that you're already familiar with and think of them as division problems. For example, 1/2 or 1/2 is really just 1 divided by 2. The fraction 2/3 or 2/3 really means 2 divided by 3. And the fraction 3/4 or 3/4 really means 3 divided by 4. Thinking about fractions like little division problems might seem strange to some of you, especially because these division problems show smaller numbers being divided by larger numbers. You may not have seen that before. You might not have even thought it was possible, but you can divide a smaller number by a bigger one. It just means that the answer you get is going to be smaller than 1. If the idea of dividing a smaller number by a bigger one seems confusing to you, don't worry. It's going to make a lot more sense in the next section when we learn about decimal numbers and how they relate to fractions. Let's review what we've learned so far. This section was short, but in it, we learned the most important thing there is to know about fractions. We learned that fractions are numbers that are written like division problems. line between the top and bottom numbers is another form of the division symbol. That tells you to divide the top number by the bottom number. The top number is called the numerator, and the bottom number is called the denominator. It might be a new idea to you, but you can divide a smaller number by a bigger. This was a really important concept we covered, so be sure to do the exercises before you move on.
Malia, lights please.
Mathantics.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've practiced that skill a little bit before. That's not our first time on that skill. But a nice quick review of it, because us knowing that fraction is division will help us as we go into multiplying and dividing our fractions now. In your math notebook, I want you to write down number 1. Read me number 1, Max. This top line only.
1/4.
Keep going.
Oh, 1/4 of 40.
1/4 of 40. Now, normally when we do our equations, we have an actual computation symbol, right?
Yes.
Does that have a computation symbol in it, though, telling us what to do?
No.
It has a word. We never see a word like that, of. How would of tell me what I need to do? How do I know what kind of computation that means? Raina?
Means to multiply.
Yeah, of is going to mean to multiply. Guys, I'm honest with you guys on math. There's things I like and there's things I love and there's things I hate about math. Using of to multiply, just put a multiplication symbol. It seems very strange to me, okay? But you guys are going to see it like that sometimes, so you need to be aware, okay? When you see of, just rewrite it and use a multiplication symbol. That's all it means, okay? We know sometimes there's weird ideas out there. There's different ideas, and they're just part of math. They're there. And of for multiplication is one of them, okay? So I went ahead and rewrote it using my multiplication symbol. Now, in multiplication, does it matter which number is first or second?
No.
Will that change my answer? No. So I could always have these flip-flopped, right?
Yes.
In addition, could they be flip-flopped?
Yes.
In division, could they be flip-flopped? No. What about subtraction? No. Okay. 1/4 of 40. We know in subtracting and adding our fractions, they had to have a common what? What did we always look for first, Charlie? We always looked for that common denominator, and if it didn't, we had to fix it, right? Ladies and gentlemen, for multiplication, we don't need to look at that. Okay? Here's what we're going to do. In multiplication for fractions, you're going to multiply across. Say multiply across.
Multiply across.
All right. However, when I look at this one, I have a whole number here. I don't have a fraction. So how am I going to multiply across when I don't even have a fraction here? Mimi? I can turn that whole number into a...
Fraction.
I can turn that whole number into a fraction. How can I always turn any whole number, whether it's 1 or 5,968, into a fraction? Mason?
Put a 1 over top.
Oh, you're so close.
Underneath.
Yeah. Put it over 1. Ladies and gentlemen, if I'm writing it up here, you should be writing it in your math notebook, being an active learner. All right, here we go. So I put my whole number. I've made it into a fraction. Now, all I do is I'm going to multiply across. So 1 times 40 is what?
40.
Mental math here. Good. And then I have 4 times 1 is
4.
Now, this fraction that I got, what kind of fraction is that called? Justice. Improper fraction. Do we ever leave it like this? No, we need to do what? We need to simplify it. How am I going to simplify it? This lesson right here, remember, helps us knowing that division, fractions are division. Brooklyn?
Tell you what to divide it by?
Yeah, and what am I going to divide it by?
10.
You're super close here. I think you're getting ahead of yourself. What does this mean? Tell me this as a division problem.
4 divided by...
Not
40 divided by 4.
very nice. 40 divided by 4. And what is 40 divided by 4? Brooklyn, you said?
10.
10. Is that simplified now?
Yes.
Done? So actually, guys, when you guys had to do addition and subtraction, you had a lot of work going into it, right? With finding those common denominators. Multiplication is actually easier than addition and subtraction because we're just going across. All right, number 2. I see that word of again. So strange for math. What am I changing that of to? Yeah, let's rewrite that right away. And we know now that to multiply my fractions, I multiply what direction? I multiply across. However, I see that I have a fraction and then I have a whole number. How am I going to fix this so I can simply multiply across, Bradley?
Add a 1 at the bottom.
Good, I put it over 1. Now, right now, it looks a little lopsided, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If you're okay with that, you can leave it alone. If you would rather them be even with each other, your fractions are even like this, you can rewrite it. For me, it would bother me leaving it like this. You guys know I like everything nice and pretty for math because then we don't make silly mistakes because it's sloppy. All right, so now what am I going to do? What's my next step here, Malia?
We do 1 times 5.
1 times what?
15.
Good, 1 times 15. I'm multiplying across. Mental math, you're giving us some easy numbers here. What do I have then as my numerator? 15. My denominator then is going to be what?
3.
Am I done?
No.
Why am I not done?
Because it's improper.
I have to fix that. That is improper. And what's going to be my equation to simplify that? Aiden.
3 times
Oop, oop. Go back to this one. Look over here. What do we do?
15 times 3. Divided by 3.
Very good. 15 divided by 3. And what is 15 divided by 3, everybody?
5. So we're just gonna end with the.
And your math notebook, guys. Everybody.
I was thinking this was gonna be a lot harder.
I know, right? It's actually easier than our addition and subtraction. All right, here we go. I want you guys to do this one on your own in your math notebook now.
Is it always gonna end in a whole number?
Not always. We always start off with some easier ones, and then we get tougher. Raise your hand if you're still working. All right, good. 1 more minute. I want you to tell your answer to a neighbor staying in your seat. Tell them what you got. Make sure your mask is on when you're doing it. Your mask should be on, guys, when you're doing it. Yeah. If you're talking to your friends, okay. Now you're good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, tell me what I need to do here. Megan, what's my first step?
You have to put 100.
Very good. So I have to make that whole number into a fraction. What's my next step? Kara. I multiply what direction? Across. So Alyssa, what am I multiplying first?
28 and 1.
Good, which is?
28.
Very nice. What's my next one then? Max?
7 multiplied
Good, which is? Can I leave it? Am I done?
by. No.
No, what's wrong here, Charlie?
It's an improper, so you have to simplify.
Very nice. And what am I dividing by, Sophia?
28 divided by 7.
Everybody, what is 28 divided by 7?
No.
Very nice. Are we done?
Yep.
I want you working on number 4. I want these people to bring me their iPad, math notebook, and a pencil. And Malia. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm good. When you guys are facing forward, you have to walk. When we turn to each other to share answers, it has to go on. Okay? Did we get it?
Yeah.
Did we got it right? Now, what was unique about this one up here that is different than our ones we've done so far, Raina?
It's just that the numbers are switched around.
Yeah, so I have what kind of number first? The whole number first, and then I have a fraction. My other ones that we've done so far, I had the fraction first. Is that going to change my process?
No.
No. So I need to make this whole number a fraction. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this one because this one's pretty lopsided here. And I like my numbers nice and straight and even. All right, in what direction do we multiply our fractions always?
Across.
We multiply across. So my numerator is what?
24.
My denominator is?
3.
How do I simplify that?
4 divided by 3 equals 8.
Are we done?
Yes.
Yeah, we're done. That was that. You are going to have a worksheet on this for your homework, yes. All right, I want to show you guys also. You guys know I love my mathematics friend. And then what's my other favorite one? My number rock, yeah. Lights, please. So this is going to be a nice, fun song that we're going to rock out to on our multiplying a whole number by a fraction. Here we go. Rock away. It's a cool beat, Steven.
I was running 8 miles away. I had already run 3/4 of the way to find how far I'd traveled from my front door. I did 8 times 3 and got 24. Then I divided by 4 and I got 6. 6 miles I'd run in my brand new kicks. Multiplying whole numbers by fractions is awesome, yeah. Well, there's a similar problem we'll not have forgotten.
Multiply by the top, divide by the bottom, multiply by the top, divide by the bottom.
I was riding to the video game shop. I had ridden 5, 6, or 12 city blocks. How far I'd gone is what I wanted to find. 12 times 5 is what I multiplied. I got 60 and then divided by 6. I had ridden 10 blocks and did a cool bike trick. Multiplying whole numbers by fractions is awesome, yeah. Well, there's a similar problem we'll not have forgotten.
Multiply by the top, divide by the bottom, multiply by the top, divide by the bottom.
A girl used repeated addition to see if she could use the strategy to solve a half times 3. She thought fast and then it came like a flash that a half plus a half plus a half is 3 halves. She converted 3 halves to 1 1/2. She had a crush that would last. It was a crush on math. Multiplying whole numbers by fractions is awesome, yeah. Well, there's a similar problem we'll not have forgotten.
Multiply by the top, divide by the bottom, multiply by the top, divide by the bottom.
All right. Lights, please. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you're doing your homework, if you kind of forget and you're like, man, I know Mrs. Bush taught us, I just can't remember. These are good resources to go back to and look at. If you don't want to watch the whole video, you can just Google Number Rock multiplying fractions, and you guys can watch just the Number Rock song if you want. Okay? All right. Now, I've heard lots of friends saying, oh my gosh, this is so easy. And it is easy. But we always start off with some smaller numbers, and then we kind of gradually increase into some harder ones. Another version of kind of having a harder one that we're going to do right now is that we make it multi-step. So I'm going to give you a problem now where you are going to have 2 steps to solve. All right. A little more difficult on this one. What's that called when I have parentheses in my math? Mason? I do that one first. And what is that called, though, when I have those parentheses? Mimi?
Please excuse my dear aunt.
Yeah, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And that's called even, give me another word. That's kind of what we use as our trick. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. PEMDAS, that works too. What's our formal word when we do that? Raina? PEMDAS, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. What is that? Starts with an O. Oh, now I had lots of friends. Megan? Order of operations. Very nice. All right, so I do my parentheses first. Ladies and gentlemen, write this problem down, and I want you to go ahead and do our first step. In parentheses, because P, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, parentheses go first. Got a glare here. So I want you to go ahead and subtract our fractions. Now, what I do love about this one is that it gave us what to help here? We already got common denominator, so that makes it nice and easy. So now I can go ahead and subtract my numerators, right? Which is 3 minus 1 is 2. My denominator is 4. Now, is this simplified? No, ladies and gentlemen, here's where you get some choices. You could choose to leave it now and finish the rest of our problem. Or you could simplify it now and then finish multiplying by 24. Okay? It's your choice. I'm going to go ahead. You're going to get the same answer at the end either way. I'm going to go ahead and leave it for now. I always like to do my simplifying at the very end. I usually never simplify in between the process. Okay? At the very end. So I bring down the rest of my problem here, which is multiplying by 24. What's my next step here? Brooklyn?
Put a 1 under it.
I put it under a 1 underneath. And now I can multiply what direction?
Across.
Good. What is 2 times 24?
48.
And what is 4 times 1?
4.
Am I done?
No.
I need to do what kind of computation here?
48.
Dividing. Good. 48 divided by... Oh, that wasn't going to be a 4. What is 48 divided by 4?
12.
Oh, I heard some different numbers there. 48 divided by 4. Very nice. All right, so definitely not something that we couldn't do, but it did have a challenge because it added one more step to us that we had to do. But like I said, nothing that you guys are not capable of doing. All right, one more problem. Oh, the hardest one ever? All right, number 6. Three fifths minus 3/10. Guys, why are we guessing?
I like this
Times 30. I want you, with a neighbor in your area, without getting out of your seat, mask on, I want you to work with a neighbor, or 2 neighbors, that's fine, and solve this together. You can turn around. And...
No, like this is hard.
No, I know, but you can turn around though. With Brooklyn. Hello?
What, just wireless caller? Oh, no, it says just wireless caller. Can I call you fine? Can I call you fine? Okay, cool. Alright, bye.
Raise your hand if you're still working. Alright. I might have to just like refresh it. Turn your iPad off and then back on. Usually most of your iPad glitches can be fixed by turning it off and back on. It's still doing it? Turn your Wi-Fi off and back on and use the button. Alright, listening in 3, listening in 2, listening in 1, let's check. Do I have a common denominator here? No. What did you find as a common denominator? 10. This one already is a 10. So this one I need to multiply by 2. Jealous sibling. What is 6 minus 3? 3. And my denominator stays the same. I bring down the rest of my problem. How do I multiply fractions? I put a 1 underneath, and then I multiply what direction?
Across.
Very nice. What is 3 times 30?
90.
What's 10 times 1?
10.
Oop. Oh, here, I can fix it. There you go. And then I need to do what to simplify that? Divide. So what am I dividing?
90 divided by 10.
Which is?
9.
Very nice. Shh. Settle. All right, ladies and gentlemen, your math homework for tonight is a Schoology worksheet working with fraction as division, working with multiplying a fraction by a whole number, and some story problems in there too using those computations. Okay? Any questions?
The internet, it's not working.
Okay, we'll have to look in a minute.
Oh, the internet's
All right, you guys go ahead and get started.
Yeah, the